Whether you're an investor looking for your next flip or a homeowner that's willing to do a little work to create your dream home, then you want to check out this video. This is Ben Larson, broker associate here with the Larson Realty Group. And on this channel, I do these South Bay home tours where I take you through these listings just like you're here with me as a buyer. Today, we're in Carson, California, and we're looking at a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, just over 1,200 square foot home. And you're going to want to stay with me so you can check out the pool later. Now let's go ahead and get started. First thing I wanted to start with was the neighborhood. So we got this nice, quiet, tree-lined, wide streets, sidewalks. We're located pretty close to the 405, so it's convenient. Let's see, there's the house itself. Get a little shot of the neighborhood, and we'll go on inside and take a look. You do have a 1-car garage. Got quite a bit of space here for another car to park behind it. Gutters, always nice. Got some solar panels, I'll have to inquire about those, what the situation is, if they're owned or they're leased or whatever it may be. Are they working, all that. It is on a raised foundation, so you can see that. So there's definitely some benefits to that. Windows have been updated. Got some dual pane glass there, which is always nice. But yeah, the benefits of, we're going to go in here and take a look. The benefits of being on a raised foundation, and if you're inside, you can stomp a little. Here's a bit of hollow. It tells you it's on a raised foundation. So if you're doing work, obviously that makes it easier. If you got to get under the home, you're doing some work, you can access it easier when you get under. Not always a fun place to go, but it's nice that you have that ability. Like I said, the windows have been updated. You got recessed lights here. This is your walking into the living room. Pretty open, easy space to work with. Definitely functional layout in here. You can get your furniture in pretty nicely, however you really want to arrange it. Get the vent up there. Now you walk in here, we can go into, you got a nice little eating area, dining area here, pretty good size. Now, if you're doing some work, you obviously have to verify everything, but a lot of people like to open things up. That would be something to look into right there. What can be done with this wall? Can we open it up? Can we make it at least cut it down a little bit? Make it, even if you need a beam or something, maybe it can still be opened and there can be a pass through there. It could be a bar area, something like that. So those are things you got to think about. I've worked with a lot of investors, a lot of homeowners that have come in and fixed up older homes. So I've seen lots of different stuff. There's obviously many things you can do. You've got the kitchen tucked away in here. You see what you're working with. A little nice window there, bringing in some light. You can see what's here, but with these types of tours with homes that need some work or that have some opportunity, it's not really about what's there in a lot of cases. It's more of like, what are you going to be able to do with it? And stick around to the end because I will talk about some different options for people that may need financing for something like this or how to kind of work. There's some different programs out there. Let's go check this out. Okay, the home itself is just over 1,200 square feet. This is a really good size room. Of course, we always want to check permits. What I look for is, here we can see the stucco, looks like an exterior wall, so assuming this was added on. Go in here. Yeah, there we go. Got some nice bright light. Great space. I mean, there's so many things you can do with this. Clean it up, get some new flooring, paint, obviously. Except these windows, these windows have been updated too. So just, fix it up. I wouldn't do a whole lot else with the space itself. But definitely check permitting. But before we go outside, let me just give you a sneak peek. There's the pool. It's there. So stay tuned. We'll come back to that. All right. So then we'll go here. You've got the 2 bedrooms, 1 bath here in the hallway. Nice bathroom. It's been updated. Tile shower, tile floors. The vanity's been updated. It's got a nice little mirror there. I got a seat in the shower. A lot of the rest of it needs some work, but this looks pretty nice. You can decide style-wise if it's for you, if you want to keep it. Then we can go back in here, one of the bedrooms. So throughout, you can see the floor. It's dark, probably been stained at some point. If you can see close up there, they're the thin little slats. Typically that means, I've talked about this in some of my other tours, typically that means it's original. A lot of the original floors with the thin little slats. Still look nice. What I've talked about in some of the other tours, fixtures like this, a lot of times all of this wood area was all carpet at one point. So we can see, got some closet space here. So all of that was carpet at one point. And people didn't think wood was cool. So they figured, let's just put some carpet over it. You got access to the attic there. We'll go into the second bedroom. This one's a little bit bigger. But yeah, so they, years ago, they put carpet down and it was down for a long time, probably, decades. And probably they put one more out. They probably put new carpet over it. So these floors that have been around for a really long time, probably original, are protected because they've had carpet on them forever. Check out the closet here, a little bit deeper than the other one. So they've had carpet on them forever, and then when you pull that up eventually, floors are in pretty good shape. There's some scuffs and different things, but probably can just be sanded down, refinished. If you don't like the dark color, probably refinish it a little lighter, which is a little bit more popular these days. Definitely something to consider. So you do that, you paint this place. The blinds, I've seen some better days, so you're going to want to update those. But from what I've been told about the listing, that a lot of the systems have been redone. So the systems have been replaced, updated over time. Obviously, you come in, you're going to make an offer on something like this, or you're going to go into escrow. You're going to get an inspection done, figure out really what's going on with it. But systems, they're not pretty. You don't notice them like you do a remodeled house or remodeled kitchen, but they're expensive and they're important. So if that stuff is done and you just got to come in and cosmetically fix this place up, I think there's a ton of potential. You can see the air conditioner. It's always nice. You got air conditioning, and you have the ducting for it. Now, this is beautiful. Check out that pool. All right, got pool equipment over there. Solar panels we saw in front, probably heating it, I'm guessing. And then all of this grass space is turf. Yeah, what that means? No mow in the yard. That's nice. Yeah, low maintenance. And it's a big yard. Let me go. Hard to looking back at the pool, but I'm going to show you from the corner here. Just try to take all this in. You got all of this grass space, and you got the grass space over there. You got the fence, which is always good for security for the pool. If you get that closed off, you don't want any neighborhood kids coming down the side of the house over there and coming over and access the pool. Let's see, not too much on here, just the side, got a little side area. So, yeah, a little warm today. I would love to be able to get into that pool. So, very cool. All right, so I'm going to go back inside and we're going to talk a little bit about what it might take to finance or purchase something like this. If you don't have a big down payment, you don't have a lot of money to do all the renovations, there's some different ways of going about it, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. But before we jump into that, I want to make sure you stay to the end, or at the end there's going to be another video, one of these South Bay home tours that I do. It's going to take you on another one. So click on that, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, definitely check out what's there. And then now I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the programs. Okay, so I just want to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about the ways to acquire something like this. It's mostly based around financing, and I am not a lender, so this is just what I've seen, what I've experienced. I have a great lender that can really help you out with almost all these different options. So you definitely reach out to me about that and get you in touch with her. But there's different ways. If you're a flipper, if you're not going to own or occupy it, that's different than if you're going to own or occupy it. If you're flipping it, a couple of the main ways is hard money and private money, and they're very similar. Hard money is more of like a typical lender. Private money is more of private parties that just lend money. They have money to lend out, things like that. So they're going to be very similar. You're going to pay some points, and then you're going to pay a higher interest rate than usual because there's more risk on their part. The down payment's going to vary. A lot of times they base it off what's called ARV, which is after repair value. So that's where you're going to want to go in, and they're going to figure out, okay, if it was fixed up, then what would it be worth? And then they can loan maybe based on that. And you're looking, depending on the program, I've seen some as low as 20% of the after repair value, or they'll loan up to 80% of the after repair value. Some will do 70, probably 70 is probably more typical. So that's something to consider there. Points can vary, 2 to 4 points. If you get below 2, you're getting a good deal. You're probably going to get a little better deal on points and rate than with private money than you will with more of a hard money corporate type lender. And those will be, hard money is going to be 12 to 15% probably. Private money will probably be in about that same range. So just know the ranges I'm giving you on the points and the interest. The private money lender is typically going to be on probably the lower end of those ranges I'm giving, but it's case by case, and it depends on the property. And the nice thing is, you can get those loans even if you don't have good credit. They base it almost entirely on the property itself, so that's a good way to get into it. If you don't have the credit, and then you come in, fix it up. You're gonna have holding costs. A lot of times they'll defer all the payments and everything until it closes. But you got to get it done and get it sold pretty quickly. Otherwise, it comes due, and then you got to figure out what to do from there. Now, if you're purchasing this as an owner occupant, of course, you have those options too. I don't know. Some of them probably won't lend if it's an owner occupant, but you have other options. There's a good renovation program that I know about, so you can reach out to me. I can get you some information on that. And then there's also there's an FHA renovation program. So if you're working FHA, if you don't have a big down payment, there's a good renovation program there. So I can get you in touch with my lender about that specifically. And if you need to sell a home, there are programs that we have access to where you can actually buy before you sell. And it's a way that, as long as you're selling your other home, they'll finance you, and they won't use that in the financing and the qualifications for purchasing the new one. So those are a few things. Again, there's a video on your screen about one of my other South Bay home tour that I do. So definitely go check that out. Check out the other videos on my channel, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.